The Quilting Book needles. Okay, this is one that we're doing in my office, y'all, because there's just not a great way for me to show these to you. I think even if I took my better camera and, you know, put the eyes of the needles right up to the camera, I don't think I could give you guys a good visual. So we're just gonna chat about them. We're in my office, where I do have some fun quilty stuff, like these pillows that I made. But we're here to talk about needles. So there are several different types of needles. The first that we're going to talk about is betweens. These are short, they have a small eye. I would say these are kind of like the general all-purpose needle. They fill just about every gap. Next we have sharps. These have more of an oval eye and they're still very short. As the name implies, they are very sharp and they have a much finer point on them. I really like them for my hand piecing. I use sharps all the time for my hand piecing. I think they're excellent for it. The next needle that we're going to talk about is milliner's needles or straw needles. These have a very tiny eye, but they're quite long typically, and they're a very fine needle in general. I really like these for binding. Some people like them for hand quilting. I am like a pincher and a squisher, and I find that I will just bend them right in half. So for hand quilting, they are not for me, but I do really like them for binding. I find that I can just grab that little edge when I'm hand binding, and it's perfect for that. It has the right amount of give. We also have embroidery needles. These are used, of course, for hand embroidery. They're great for hand quilting. They're used in needlepoint, which is another thing that I do. Often uses a embroidery needle. Lots of uses for your embroidery needle. And these are going to be, in general, a shorter, thicker with a longer eye needle because they are meant to have those heavier threads in them. You're also going to have sashiko needles. This is a specialty needle, very, very tiny eye. And these ones are for sashiko, and I will say sashiko only. You can use them for other techniques in hand quilting, but they truly are designed for this one very specific type of hand quilting and mending. We also have self-threading needles. These are really, really great for when you bury your threads in your quilt sandwich. So when we're quilting along, we may have a thread break or a stop, particularly in long arming. When I was long arming, thread breaks happen, they happen all the time. And so having a self-threading needle so that those tails can then be buried in between the layers of the quilt and no one will see them is great. You just click it in, hold your tails, weave it in, pull it out, needle comes off, threads are buried in your quilt sandwich. Now let's talk some other tools and one last type of needle. The last type of needle that you're going to see not terribly often is a curved needle. These are very, very popular with people who like to hand baste their quilts. I have never personally cared for them, but they do have a time and a place, and in general these are meant to be used with a little bit heavier thread. They have a rather large eye. In general, they are a heavier needle. Great for basting, and they have kind of this, it almost looks like a half moon shape to them. Now let's talk other tools. Other tools that are fabulous. Some kind of needle threader. There's the hummingbird, there's the sew line, there's the little flower, there's the one that all our grandmas had from their little drugstore sewing kits that sort of looks like a coin on one end. There are the ladybug thread needle threaders that have a light on them. Lots and lots of needle threaders. Needle minders. This is something I use a ton in needlepoint. I don't actually use a ton in quilting. I mostly use it in my needlepoint. I have a ton of cute ones. I have some for my cross stitch too. but they come in all varieties. They are adorable. Actually, I think I have one I can show you guys. I do. I'm back. This is brand new. I ordered this a while back. It is from one of my favorite needle pointers. It's a Cosmo, and it has a matching Cosmo needle minder. So this is one of my many very cute needle minders that will go with my canvas while I am stitching on it. But needle minders are absolutely for quilters too. They are great if you are hand quilting. They're really great if you're binding, and it just keeps your needle tucked away. I'll even sometimes use them inside of my English paper piecing kit just to kind of keep things tucked away, and then I know where all the needles are. So it's great for that. Let's also talk a little bit quickly about pins. We've talked about pins before. There are many different types of pins. Probably the most important pins you're going to have for quilting are going to be glass head pins. These are super, super fine, and they have a glass head tip so you can iron over them. Or flower head pins. Some of these now are heat safe, others are not, so you'll have to double check, but they have a distinctive plastic flower head shape on the end of them, and they're very easy to grab, and then you can see them really well too so that you don't lose them. So those are great. We've talked basting pins before too. When we get to our quilting, I'm going to show you guys how to pin baste your quilt. This is the most economical way to baste your quilt before you actually get to the quilting of your quilt sandwich. And then other kind of tools that kind of fit in this needles category would be glue. It's very, very popular to use glue to secure your seams prior to stitching them now. I would say probably pen and paper has one of the best techniques for this. Art East Quilting also has a really good gluing technique. I would watch some of their videos. The other thing that we might use glue for is English paper piecing. So I will show you guys how to glue baste your pieces, and that is done with a glue stick versus liquid glue. The liquid glue is used more in aligning our seams in a quilt. Quilt clips are great. We have the Corgi clips at the store. They're glittery and they're fun. Just like Oliver. He's a star. And other kind of tools that you might want to have on hand. I don't use these a ton, but some kind of pin cushion or a magnetic pin bowl. I am typically a pull my pins and immediately put them back in whatever, little dish that they came out of, whatever container they came out of. But a pin cushion can be great, especially if you're thinking of kind of trailing off into the quilted garments. They make really nice pin cushions that fit on your wrist, and so you're sewing along and you pull your pin and stick it in your wrist pin cushion. The last tool that kind of goes with this that we've talked about before is a thimble. If you are hand quilting, I would suggest a leather thimble, and we will go over hand quilting a little bit later on. But a leather thimble is great for it. I also like the silicone ones, or there's a product that we also talked briefly about before called ThimTech, where you can custom create a thimble out of a kind of medical tape type product that will fit you perfectly every single time. So that is needles, pins, and more. I am going to film furiously, hopefully this weekend, so that there are lots of videos for you guys next week, and hopefully we get to the fun part, which is the sewing, because I'm really excited about that. See y'all soon.